Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games, and I'm coming at you guys with an update for my Paleozoic Frog deck. I respect the heck out of this deck. Since its initial inception into the game, man, well, I tell you, like, I have respected Paleozoic since day one. I really do admire this deck so much. Its playstyle is really cool. I mean, I just really love how it establishes board presence naturally without even using monsters. Like, you have to understand how much incremental value that you get capitalizing off of a trap that can basically provide you a 1-for-1 spot removal and a field presence at the same time. That's a lot of value, and especially in grind games against other trap decks, this deck can just generate field presence just by allowing your opponent to play Yu-Gi-Oh! If their deck is dominantly revolving around traps like Altergeist and, you know, Greats and Guru Control. Just the fact that every time they activate a trap, you can just basically get board presence. So it really helps you to grind, and this deck is really powerful. It's slept on, and it's a rogue that can definitely always hang with the meta decks no matter what, because it's very adaptable as well. I just really think that Paleozoics are better than Altergeist, but that's just me. I'm entitled to my opinion, just like every other human being on the face of the planet is. So let's go ahead and hop into my list. It is unorthodox. I ask if you approach this, if you would not mind, approach this with an open mind. Try not to be as pessimistic as you can. Just definitely check out my list first before you judge it. I definitely understand the skeptics. You know, I understand, like, if people are like, oh, I've never seen this card, or I don't like this card. But just keep in mind, this is my deck personally. This is how I like to play it, and nobody can tell me how to play my deck. All right, so we're going to start off with the frog lineup. I'm like, okay, wait, I showed that too. I showed that one too soon. Wait, no, that was supposed to be a surprise. Okay, this frog lineup right here, this is the... You guys did not just see that. Please tell me you didn't see that. Alright, so this is your frog lineup that's never going to change in any Paleozoic deck. The only thing I feel that people can differentiate between is the dupes. I feel that Ronin Totem is absolutely a 2-of, especially with Called by the Grave being a card. Like, just having only one Ronin Totem, if you don't have access to your Lee and Chaya, you just kind of just lose access to your frog engine. So I think 2 is correct. That's the only thing I would really explain, because you guys, if you're watching a Paleozoic deck profile, I feel that you know how to play Paleos and you understand how old the frogs are and how they work. But you guys ready for the sauce? So I was trying to make my Paleozoic deck better in the sense that I wanted to solve some problems that it really had, that it struggled with. So the problem-solving card that I decided to incorporate, not only has no Paleozoic player ever played this that I've personally seen, not on YouTube or in anybody I've known, but this card is actually so good and slept on that I feel like after this profile, every single Paleozoic player should start playing this card in their deck. And remember, I'm going to be the dude that started it, I'm telling you. 2 flip-flop frogs. Now, before I start talking about this card, you're going to see 30,000 comments to say, I've been playing that card. Yeah, right. All right, so Flip-Flop Frog, basically what it does, it's a flip effect monster, which is really cool. It's not necessarily a flip effect monster, but it gets an effect when it's flip face up. Also, while it's on the field, it can change itself to face down defense position. That's very relevant. So when this card's flip face up, you can return, and it does not target. This is the thing. It doesn't target, and it doesn't destroy. Why is that important, 3 Stacks? All the Paleozoic spot removal trap targets, even if it doesn't destroy. Canadia targets, Dinomishus targets. Now, my issue is when a monster can't be targeted, it's very difficult for me to interact with that particular monster, and having to use excess resources to go into a board load is not always something that you're able to do at any given time. So to mitigate that issue, I felt that this would be an awesome tech. It's really spicy, by the way, and it fits the theme of the deck. It's a frog that can be sent off swap frog, and you know, you can use it as Ronin Totem food. It can be searched off dupe. In addition to that, you could just special summon this card off of Totally Awesome, but you return any number of monsters your opponent controls to the hand, to the owner's hand, which is really cool because, like, you can kaiju them and bounce it with this. So you return any number of monsters that your opponent controls to the owner's hand, up to the number of frog monsters you control, except for Dez the Frog. I'm sorry, except for Frog the Jam. So basically, if you control dupe and swap and this, like, you can bounce 3 monsters. This card is potentially a board wipe, and this is a card that your opponent is never going to expect. They will never expect this. Oftentimes, when they attack into a monster, they're like, okay, it's either a dupe or Ronin Totem. Either way, like, I've got game. Like, they're sitting there saying, I have Boral Sword. I have Borosword. I have Game. I'm just going to attack it. I don't care that it's a Ronin Totem. I don't care if it's a dupe prog. I don't care if you'll search off the dupe because I have Game. Borosword's about to kill you. You flip this flip-flop frog, and you bounce their Borosword and the monster they're trying to use to abuse it, which is insane. And I really need to make sure, yeah. Literally, yeah, it doesn't target. Like, this card is insane, you guys. I'm never going to not play this card ever again. Every Paleozoic deck profile from henceforth that you see is going to be playing Flip-Flop Frog. You guys have to play this card. I've never seen anybody playing it, and from here on out, I don't want any excuses. Everybody needs to play this in their Paleozoic deck. This is going to become a staple, and I would love for, you know, just a little bit of acknowledgement. All right, moving forward to the traps. So I have a pair of trap tricks. I really wish that I had 3, but I only have 2. But definitely, this is a must-have 3 of in this deck. This is a trap-based deck. And in fact, nearly the entirety of the toolboxing Paleozoics are all they're just normal traps. So there's really nothing that you can't get with this card. You can even put in your own little text. Just some really good flexible normal traps, considering that you could technically play 6 copies of any 3 of just having 3 trap tricks. And then starting off with the Paleozoics, sorry, my dinos are kind of just... These ones, like, if these were the commons, they wouldn't be as bent, but I had some supers, and they were sitting out, so these kind of... You notice how the common is just, like, regular looking, and these are kind of warped looking? Yeah, that really sucks, but I'm playing 3 copies of Dino Mischief because he's a problem solver this format. There are too many monsters that just have protection effects. They're just, like, they either have an effect when they hit the grave, or they just, like... If you try to destroy them, something else happens like Colossus is, or like they just literally can't be destroyed or something like that. So I just think Dino's really good. Dino's still good in the Sky Striker matchup. It's really powerful in against Guru Control, and it's really strong in the Solomon Great matchup in particular because Bela Links can't protect the Link monster, and if you go first and they establish that Link, you can just banish it and you take away their access to using any of their traps because they need a Link monster to do it, and the Bela Links doesn't matter because you're not destroying it. 3 copies of Canadia. Canadia is the Book of Moon of the deck. It's really good in particular matchups like Thunder Dragons, Danger Thunder Dragons, any Guard Dragon deck. You'd be surprised if you just Book of Moon, their level 4 dragon, they automatically are forced to have an extender or they can't go into LP. So don't sleep on this card. Just because it's bad against Sky Strikers doesn't make it a bad card. It's good against Ultrageist. In fact, really good, especially when they have that Mullaseek. That can be really annoying if how much advantage they get off of a Mullaseek. Just clearing one of your back rows and searching a multi-faker and putting out a Link Rebull on your field, that's too much advantage they can get, and you need to stop them from doing that. Against Guru Control, the irony is this is good against Guru Control. It's actually really insane. The reason being is because oftentimes when they're going for that big push with their trap and they're trying to activate the effect to attack, you know, get the double attack. On attack declaration, you can easily just activate Canadia. And the thing is, your matchup against Guru Control is really strong because your Paleozoic traps are all unaffected by monsters. I just have to specify that every Paleozoic trap can come out from the graveyard once per chain when a trap card is activated. A trap card. So if anybody is playing traps in their Yu-Gi-Oh deck, I get to summon my Paleozoics from grave, and they are unaffected by monster effects. You have to understand how powerful that is. They have 1200 attack, which is balancing them out, but they are unaffected by monster effects, so Guru cannot interact with these cards. Like, they literally don't care about any of your monster effects at all. So, like, a board full of threatening, powerful monsters have to just attack over these, and you play cheesy cards like Wabaku and Threatening Roar to ensure that you have a next turn. So these guys just can't really be killed. And then we played 3 copies of Olenoids. Olenoids is the Emisia, the archetype. Basically just really helps you because in general there's a lot of control decks, there's a lot of combo decks, but most of the decks, even if they're combo, do play some form or variety of back row, even if they just hard drew an impermanence or a called by and set it. Both impermanence and call by can hurt this deck. And then we have 3 Hallucigenia. This is a card that you'll rarely ever see in Paleozoic decks, but me personally, I'm the dude that actually loves the Paleozoic traps so much that I feel that you need to play way more than 10 of them. In fact, I actually have a list on my channel that played 22 Paleozoic traps. And it was insane. It was a Paleozoic turbo build. Me as a Paleozoic player, I've always saw the potential of the Paleozoic traps themselves. And I played 3 Maria. It's the best starter card. It's going to get you straight into your engine. Naturally, this is a 1 card totally awesome when you use it right. 2 Pikachus. I love Pikachu. It's one of my favorite Paleozoic traps. Like, in fact, Maria and Pikachu are my 2 favorite Paleozoic traps. If you guys don't like Pikachu, it doesn't matter. It's my deck. I played how I love it. If you guys don't like Hallucigenia, just don't play it. But you telling me not to play it is not going to change me playing it. So I just advise just save your breath, play your deck how you want to play it. Definitely nobody's going to stop you. Hallucigenia is really insane though, you guys. Like the little Paleozoics are already unaffected by monster effects, and the fact that you can just half an opponent's monster's attack and just force them to die trying to attack over a tiny little Paleo is really good. The other thing with Maria, Hallucigenia, and Pikaia, which is Pikachu, is they are not reliant on your opponent having a card for you to interact with. This can target any of your monsters. It's a face-up monster on the field that it targets, and these can be activated practically at any time, which enables you to basically establish your board presence in your own comfort zone while simultaneously having the flexibility to make Toads under pressure, especially when your opponent has something like, oh, it can't be targeted, so now I can't activate this, but I need to get a Paleozoic trap from grave, and these cards are really handy for that. And then I'm still playing the one Lianchaya. I'm not playing Desire, so I feel that since I'm not playing Desires in this list, I didn't need the second one. It comes up rarely, but with me playing Flip Flop Frog, giving me access to 2 extra frogs, it extends the Ronin Totem engine actually a lot more. Well, not the Ronin Totem engine, but it just extends my frog plays a lot more because Ronin Totem gets 2 more banishes, and that makes a huge difference. Because naturally, you're using Lianchaya to just put a banished frog back, chain a trap, and just getting a target for Ronin Totem when you run out of them is just really important. But having 2 extra targets just definitely justifies me playing the one Lianchaya. So the number of Paleozoics that I play are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 Paleos. But even that's not enough. I feel like I should be playing 4 more of them. And next up, for kind of just some generic traps, the only Floodgate I decided to play was Rivalry. Now, this deck cannot play There Can Only Be One, and I feel that Gozen is a good card, but Gozen is not good enough against the meta decks. Like, I find that Rivalry is really good because even though Sandman Greats are like a mono archetype, Rivalry denies them from going into any generic Link monsters, which forces them to only play their archetype-specific cards. So they can't go into Phoenix, they can't go into Borlode or Borsword or anything like that, which can help. But outside of that matchup, this can really dominate. In the Sky Striker matchup, they summon Raid, they can't go into anything. This really, really helps you out a lot. In fact, in your Danger, Thunder Dragon, Guard Dragon matchup, because they're summoning so many monsters of different types. Even the Dangers themselves all have different types. Like, this card can even be a blowout just going second. If you back up Rivalry with Solemn Strike, it's still a good board wipe. Going second, you're like, oh, like, I can't play through these negates. I'm going to pretend like I'm losing. I'm going to set a Rivalry, and I'm going to set a Strike. I'm going to flip Rivalry and try to clear their field. They're going to try to interact with this with Red Dragon Archfiend. I'm going to chain a Strike. Bam. Their whole field just became, like, just one monster, basically, which is really strong. And it's just, in general, like, I don't have to keep it going in-depth on, like, Rivalry, but it's just really good at this format. I find that it's underestimated, and it still has great potential in the Guru matchup, which Sub-Terras are really popular. Don't sleep on that deck, man. 3 Infinite Impermanence, the only hand trap I decided to main because it just fits the theme of the deck. By the way, these traps are all negates. So we have 3 Lost Wind. This card is freaking insane, dude. The amount of value that you get off of this card's even great going second. Like, just permanently halving and negating the monster forever, and then just getting the extra value. This card naturally allows you to make 2 Totally Awesomes if you use it right. And then we have 3 Solemn Strikes and 1 Breakthrough. These are all negations. So you're playing 10 negations in the main deck. And the Rivalries, when you can back Rivalry with any one of these, you can potentially clear any field. But the Breakthrough skill has to be main deck because you need to be able to dump Breakthrough. Like, if you open Trap Trick or Maria, games 2 and 3, I highly advise that you send this immediately to the grave because you never know if somebody's going to side Denko Seka against you. And if they side Denko, you have just sent your out. So if they can't OTK you, at least you know that you can play Yu-Gi-Oh! Next turn just by banishing the Breakthrough and targeting the Denko. I love Reckless Greed. Like, I love Reckless Greed and Waboku and Threatening. I play basically classic Paleozoics. Like, back in the day when they first came out, a lot of people were experimenting with cards like these. But I like these because these are normal traps that you can activate anytime without any stipulations. And normally these kind of are just FTKs. I'll show you test hands at the end of the video, but when you have Paleos engraved and you're chaining them off and you're just building your board on your opponent's turn, which is crazy because you can, with playing Paleozoics, you can break your opponent's board while you're building your own at the same time because your 1-for-1 spot removal traps kill a card and then bring another card back from the grave. And then you flip Threatening Roar. Basically, like, it's insane because you chain another trap. They're all basically, they can't be destroyed by battle and are unaffected by monster effects, which literally forces your opponent to have like 3 or 4 Widow Anchors, which is impossible. And Reckless Greed is just nuts, you guys. Like, we do not care about skipping our draw phase. I'll show you guys test hand because, you know, we just got to get rid of any hatred. So for the extra deck, we have 3 totally awesome. This card is nuts, especially now. Like I find myself oftentimes, if I already have my frog engine going pretty steady and strong, I'll special summon flip flop frog off of this, and then I'll use his effect to put him face down, and I immediately have removal. Because what normally happens is you summon this on your opponent's turn face down, and your opponent, if they can't get rid of this, like especially if you're threatening roar them, it's just really hard, and then you're basically guaranteed are going to be able to clear their field, and then OTK them with your own Boar Sword. So yeah, like I just feel like you can't not play this card, and it's in Aqua, so you can still send it off of Toad, even if it's in your hand. Toad is just a crazy powerful boss monster that people thought would have been banned, and it's still not banned. Like it's literally a +2. You negate a card from your opponent, you steal a card from them, and you get a water from grave. You do the math. You get 2 cards off of 1, but you negate your opponent's card with a 1-for-1, and it's just crazy, you guys. Like this card is just so good. 3 Opabinias, it's my favorite Paleozoic. In fact, oftentimes, I'm weird. I go into the Paleozoics more than I go into Totally Awesome. I don't know why. I just really love the Paleozoic X1Zs. That's why I play so many of them. Oh, 3 seconds. You can add this off of Toad. You can add these off of Mistar Boy. Let me tell you something. As a Paleozoic player, you never, Mistar Boy, you never, like, kill it. You never let it die. It never really dies. All you do is just link Mistar Boy from here over to here using another Mistar Boy. All I do is just link climb and jump zones with Mistar Boys. They never get killed because they never stay on the field. And then my Toads, I always use them to add themselves back or frogs. It's once in a blue moon when I actually get a chance to add these back. So no, this is me. Like I'm gonna play these at this ratio because I love these. In fact, I love getting double Anomalocaris and a Totally Awesome, which this deck can do because it's so powerful. It's so dang powerful. And with Anomalocaris, especially with 2, your Reckless Greed becomes basically just like a draw 4. Every time you activate a trap, you draw 2. So you out-resource any deck. You have a Trident on legs that's unaffected by monster effects. Every time you activate a trap, you draw 2 cards. You are out-resourcing your opponent because you 1-for-1 them, but you got 2 cards out of it in the interaction. And then you have Toad. You're going to negate a card. You're going to get 2 cards out of it. Does that make sense? You're getting so much advantage. It's crazy, you guys. Like, do not sleep on Paleozoics. They are powerful, man. Seriously. Links, we have 3 Mistar Boy. You need to play 3. You're going to go through so fast. If you play 2, you're going to be mad at yourself. We have Sky Sentry. It's just a one-of. I felt like it's easier to go into this than it is to go into Boarload a lot of times. You just need that non-targeting, non-destruction removal, just like Flip Flop Frog. And then next up for links, more links, we have Boarload, Boar Sword, and Topo. Topo, I have, in playtesting, I've triggered Topo 3 times, and I could have triggered him a 4th, but it was just unnecessary styling. Your Paleozoics get summoned to his zone. It doesn't matter. They're unaffected by monster effects. He couldn't kill them if he tried, so you get to Raigeki for free. This deck plays Topologic better than Orcus can because it can trigger Topologic more times than Orcus can, and on top of that, it never hurts. But I'm an Orcus player, so I'm not knocking them either. Let's see. 17 minutes in. Okay, you guys. Right here, you do not have to watch this. I'm going to show you guys a test hand with this deck. I just really want to show you guys how consistent it is without playing Desires or Card of Demise, anything like that. I want to show you guys how fast you can make your board explode with this deck. Playing a trap deck, I've done this on numerous occasions. Ask my friends and my teammates and anybody who knows me how I play Paleos. I am a first turn setup, second turn kill Paleo player. Like when you play against me with Paleos, you're not going to get a turn. If you can't kill me in 1 turn, you're dead the next turn. I'm not one of those Paleo players who likes to force the game state to be simplified and go into a grind game. Like my Paleos are built to kill you fast, so I'm not trying to go into a grind game with Paleozoics. Like it's just never been me, bro. Like it's just not me. Like I can understand like Altergeist players, yeah, it's cool. Like they can't put out damage, but one of the most underrated factors about the Altergeist deck in their mechanic is that they can OTK you out of nowhere. Like it's a perk of the deck. Like I take advantage of that. That's why I play a ton of the Paleozoic traps. They're absolutely the best traps in your deck, you guys. So I'm gonna do this test hand so I can show you how good the list actually is, so you don't think that I'm just overhyping it when it's, you know, like not factual. And you guys clearly saw I power shuffled. I'm gonna cut again. All I want when I'm playing this deck, I want to draw a hand with 4 Paleos and a Threatening Roar. If I have 4 Paleos and a Threatening Roar, it's game time, baby. That's how it's going to work. So let's see. We drew Swap. Oh, we drew Swap plus a Water. Stop it. Stop it. We drew Olenoids. We drew Flip Flop. Oh, baby. And we drew Canadia. You guys want to know something really cool? Is you can use Swap Frog. So with this is perfect to show you how my list works. So like right here, we can basically special swap dump a Ronin Totem, then we could bounce swap if we wanted to. We could bounce swap, and then we could normal summon the flip-flop frog, and then we can basically use flip-flop frog's effect to put itself face down. Then to normal summon for turn, we normal summon the swap frog. I'm going to do that, in fact. So we're going to activate swap, discard dupe, special summon. Use his effect, dump Ronin Totem. Bounce him to hand so that you gain an additional normal summon for a frog monster that's not him. Guess what? Additional normal on flip-flop frog. This is my new homie right here. This is my new partner. Matter of fact, he needs to meet my turtle, baby. So flip-flop is going to use his effect. Basically, once per turn, you can flip this card into face-down defense position. This card can pick apart a board of monsters that can't be targeted or destroyed. That's why I'm playing it. And it's a threat. Like, this card is so much of a threat that any smart player is going to try to get rid of this little level 2 monster upside down. Like, it's crazy. Like, this card is so powerful and such a threat. It's like, it's almost like this. You have to respect Penguin Soldier, bro. You have to respect it. You can't just ignore Penguin Soldier, bro. So normal summon for turn, swap frog. Then we're gonna go and use swap. And since I'm already fluent with the swap, I'm just gonna dump another copy of them. And so remember, we use the additional normal summon off of swap frog for our flip-flop frog. Put them face down, then normal summon for turn. A lot of people like forget, like every time I bounce swap and then normal summon for turn, they're like, you can't do that, bro. You can't, like, bro, this is a normal summon for turn. I haven't even normal summoned. So we're gonna banish the swap. We're gonna special summon the Ronin. We're gonna overlay these two little homies right here, Esteban and Roni homie, right? We're gonna go into Totally Awesome, the GOAT. We're gonna set Canadia and Olenoidus. Now with this, you're gonna snowball off control. Now, different factors can vary because there are decks that are just so powerful that they really just don't care about the interruptions you could put up. But the thing is, if this is good enough, it's gonna be game next turn. So this is based on Canadia and Olenoids plus Totally Awesome and this flip-flop frog, which is actually gonna put in work because now they have to find a way to clear this card via a card effect. If they run into this by battle, he's just gonna punish them by bouncing their cards, which is crazy. So if this is good enough, then this is gonna be game. So what I'll do, and I'm still a firm believer in the dupe lock. What I'll do is I'll go for my first dupe, and what I'm praying on basically is this gonna be enough? Like, is this gonna be enough? And what I'm going to need to do to play around call by, like, I hate having to get rid of my dupe, but if I'm ever put in an instance where I need to use Toad, I normally don't tribute itself for cost. Just like you have to be a smart player sometimes. Like, call by is a card that exists, and you have to use that hindsight play right there where, like, even if they don't have it, the way I've always played Yu-Gi-Oh! Is I put myself in the mindset, they do have it. They always have it, so I'm always going to play around it. So when I'm using Toad, I'm just going to tribute something that's not his self, so that way they can't just negate my negations with the call by, and that just really would suck, and I wouldn't be happy about that. And then we can just activate these whenever we need to. The second one can get the first one back. So if we were put in a situation where we were able to activate the Paleo Traps first, that spot removal, and then this can just chain, and you can get that interaction. Special this back. Then Toad could tribute this for cost, and it'll get banished. Now, they're unaffected by monster effects, but guess what? They're not unaffected by cost, so you can tribute them for Toad. And if this is enough, which, by the way, they run into the flip frog, why would they do that? Dupe's on the field. So Dupe can die, you know, we can go ahead and grab a swap frog. But if this is enough, you can actually just Boral Sword next turn, which is going to get crazy on. I wish that I had more Paleozoic traps because I really love Opabinia a lot. Like, I really do, because I love the Paleozoic traps, man. Like, I've always played that way. Like, the Paleozoic traps are really good, man. So we're going to search the swap. We draw. Totally Awesome activates this effect. And now things snowball off control because the frog engine is actually really good for link climbing. It's like you have scapegoat, basically. You've resolved the scapegoat, like, haphazardly, like you just didn't care. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and special summon another flip-flop frog because this card's just nuts, right? And then we drew Rivalry for turn. Rivalry Solemn Strike is still a board wipe, you guys. It still is. Like, play against Danger Thunder Dragon, Guard Dragons. You're going second. Oh, dang, I'm going to pretend like I lost. I'm going to set this Rivalry and Strike, and I'm going to break the board. Swap Frog is going to dump the other... we're going to dump the other Ronin Totem, so we can go bananas. So first things first, we're going to flip-flop Frog. We're going to use this effect. If there are any monsters in our way right now, we can bounce 4 monsters with Flip-Flop Frog because it basically returns monsters your opponent controls up to the number of face-up frog monsters you control except Frog the Jam. Currently, right now, we have 4. And let me make sure that Swap Frog's not treated as Frog the Jam. Yep, he's not. Thank God. So we get to bounce 4 monsters potentially. If they want to negate it, negate their negate with Totally Awesome. If Totally Awesome somehow gets negated, you're still going to get the follow-up play via the Totally Awesome. So this is a really safe play to make. We're clearing 4. So we basically got to negate our opponent's plays, interrupt their turn. We got to Flip-Flop Frog, which is a broken card. Just so good, man. Clear their field. Oh, you have 3 Colossuses and a Titan. Gee, man, I don't know what I'm going to do except flip summon this little Penguin Soldier right here and clear your field. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all 4 of these. And I'm going to go straight into Boral Sword. Then we're going to banish Flip-Flop. We're going to banish Swap. We're going to summon both Ronins. And then, oh yeah, and Totally Awesome, I forgot, he gets his effect from Grave. I'm just going to get Flip-Flop back because this is like my new favorite frog right now. And then we're going to overlay these 2. We're going to go into Totally Awesome. So we're going to be going for a push with Boral Sword and Totally Awesome, which is a really safe push because if your opponent had a follow-up, you can negate the follow-up in the first place. And Toad still can, I believe there should be a dupe left. But yeah, that's a great test hand. Like, that's just one of many that I could show you, but I really don't want the video to be any longer. But yeah, you guys, that's going to conclude my Paleozoic deck profile. Like I said, you guys, this is like one of, if not the only trap decks that I've just always respected. It really does promote healthy interactivity. It's not a degenerate deck that's telling you that you can't play. It has one-for-one interactions. For me, that's how good old-fashioned Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to be back in the day. Like, it reminds me similar of Go format, which every card that you commit, naturally, I can respond and answer it with another card. And if you think of it, it's very strategic in this matter that we're both like generals of an army and we're using our resources pitted against each other. But the thing with Paleozoics is, again, like I was mentioning, if you play against any deck that is a trap-based deck, their toolbox becomes a resource that you can tap in and expend at any time you want. They activate a trap, you get a body on field. So yeah, it's a really good deck, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's definitely better than Altergeist. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. But thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful day, and don't do drugs and don't join a gang. Peace.